What is up, everybody? This is Two Jersey Kids, episode 27 and a half, I guess you could call it that. I am Adam Buckingham, the host of this car crash this evening, alongside my best friend, the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. Say hi, Gary.
What's up?
What's
happening all?
Up. We are a video game podcast released every Tuesday and Friday. This is the Tuesday episode. If you didn't know, the Tuesday episode, we tell you the games coming out this week. We just sort of run them down. Then you can find the full synopsis and gameplay links on our website, twojerseykids.com. And then our Friday episodes where we break down all the news that has been going on in the video game industry since last week. That's exciting, Gary. Isn't it exciting? Don't you think people should subscribe to this podcast?
Definitely. Get to it immediately.
Good job, Gary. Way to just, be a puppet. Oh, well, how you been, Gary? How's your weekend been?
Well, I don't know if I want to tell you anymore, Adam. You're kind of being a douche. But it's been a good weekend, though. I got a chance yesterday to watch my former college hockey team at Rutgers win their championship for their league. Pretty awesome.
Nice.
Got to go to the after party, which was equally awesome, actually even better, because I got to really partake in everything.
Ain't no party like a hockey party, because the hockey party don't stop.
What? It was a great time. I got to see a lot of old friends, a lot of people that I used to hang out with back when I played on the team. So it was a great time, just kind of reconnect with people and just kind of sit and lay back. But
nice.
It was also kind of sad, like I was saying before this podcast even started to you, that it was kind of sad because it kind of felt like the end of an era, because a lot of the guys that I play with are kind of now also leaving, and it's like, I'm not going to know many people on this team anymore. So it's kind of weird.
So
kind of weird
sad.
Feeling. But other than that, though, I've been playing more Horizon. I mean, I'm trying to anyway. I've been having so many things. Like, it's not that I'll have time at night, but a lot of times I'll go sit down and play the game, and then I have something come up and I have to go and do something. So I have like an hour at a time to play it, and I feel like with this game you need like a few hours at a time
to play.
Yeah, you need to sit down and enjoy it, and hopefully after this episode here, I'll be able to do so and
nice.
further enjoy it. But
yeah,
anyway,
I haven't played any of it this weekend myself personally. Been very busy. Been over hanging out with the girlfriend, doing some things. Went to the final home basketball game in the University of Maryland because I had season tickets for the basketball team. We went to the random thing, we went to the box office because for some reason we're fucking running late all the time to these games, and I'm not sure why. So we got to it, and like the first half was basically done, and we normally go to the front customer service area to print out our tickets. The lady's just like, "Oh, do you want these better tickets for you?" I was like, "They're basically in the mid-court area, far down." I'm like, yeah, because we normally sit. For season tickets, we bought and we're up in the nosebleeds areas because they're cheaper. But these, so much better. It was awesome. Maryland played Michigan State. Our star point guard Mello. We don't know if it's going to be his last year because he's a junior right now. We're not sure if he's going to go out or just stay as a senior. I feel like once you get to that point in college basketball, you should stay as a senior, just because. I mean, if you didn't get recruited already, maybe you're just not talented enough, but you don't have the raw talent that some people have going out.
But at the same time, I feel like a lot of players, especially basketball players, are more or less thinking in the short term because, fast forward one game, they could tear their ACL and their career could be over. So a lot of these guys, they want that paycheck and want to be able to support their families. So
true. But this is not a sports podcast,
slope.
But this was his last game, and he hit the game-winning shot with one. That's the thing that I've always wanted. That's what I always wanted going to sporting events, is be at that game where the team you're rooting for hits that last second shot or hits a walk-off home run or that overtime goal.
Wait, have you never been to an overtime before?
What?
You never been to an overtime game before?
Never been to a
That's
walk-off
crazy.
win. Never.
I've been to 2 pivotal overtime Flyers games. Insane, dude. There was one time where I almost felt like it was against the Devils back in 2010, the year the Flyers went to the Cup Finals. Well, they ended up winning an overtime game against the New Jersey Devils, and I remember they scored Dan Carcillo, guy you would never expect to actually score a goal, let alone an overtime goal. He ended up scoring the game winner. And I remember my friend like almost pushed me down like several rows of seats.
See Gary tumbling down the stairwell.
It was like a mosh pit all of a sudden, dude. Food was flying everywhere. Trays were like in the air. I was like, what the hell's going on? It was awesome though, man. It was great. Good times.
Yeah, so I was hyped. It was awesome. Awesome game. Then went skiing today, so I've been sort of busy. But I look forward to getting back to Horizon. I probably won't be playing it tomorrow night. The reason we're actually recording this early, is because Marta's getting her wisdom teeth out on Tuesday morning, so I have to drive her, and she'd be all hopped up on, drugs and everything, so, I have to...
Entertaining?
What?
Should be entertaining, to say the least.
Just a tad. So I had to, be a nice boyfriend that I am and go help her. So,
what a great
video
guy
game
you
on
are.
the back burner, because sometimes they're not as important. But right now we're not talking about that. We're actually excited because video games are coming out this week. Aren't you excited, Gary? I said, aren't you excited, Gary? Aren't you?
I am very excited. Let's read
read
them off here, Adam. It's your job.
From March 6th all the way to the 12th. Is that the 12th? Yeah, 12th. But we're starting Tuesday, March 7th, because nothing comes out on Monday ever. Starting off with Atellar Fifris, The Alchemist and the Mistress.
Starting off strong.
The Mysterious Journey coming to PS4, Vita, and PC. We have Lego Worlds coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. We have Nier Automata. People are coming to PS4. People are really excited about this game. I think it's developed by Platinum. Kind of, there's a weird dystopian vibe to it. It's got kind of a cool combat system. I know people were vibing it when they were playing the beta. I saw a lot of people on Twitter real hyped about this. Then we have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. This game also people have been hyping too. I've been seeing a lot of gameplay videos of it. A lot of people are excited about the co-op aspect of it. You can hop in with your friends and play, go do a bunch of different missions as a Ghost Recon team, take out a bunch of, I forget where it's, Bolivia, is that where this takes place? A lot of drug cartel stuff, and looks like a hootenanny. That's the word. Moving on. What were you saying, Gary? You're about to say something. Don't shake your head at me!
I was going to express my disbelief, but you can continue.
Clicker Heroes coming to PS4. Then we have Darknet coming to PSVR. Unearthing Mars coming to PSVR. Dino Dino's Kickoff Revival coming to PS4 and Vita. Now that sounds like a game I want to get. Dino Diny's Kickoff. That's a great game. Disc Jam coming to PS4. Gem Smashers coming to PS4 and Vita. Loot Rascals coming to PS4. Shift Happens also coming to PS4. So many PS4 games. Sub-level Zero Redux coming to PS4. Talisman Digital Edition coming to PS4 and the coveted Vita. Total Jigsaw is coming to PS4. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 coming to Xbox One. Yay. Wednesday, March 8th, you have Verdun coming to Xbox One. Then we move to Friday, March 10th. My lungs are about to give out. We have Too Dark coming to Xbox One and PS4. We have Tabletop Racing World Tour coming to Xbox One. Kitty Powers Dating Agency, because that sounds exciting, even though I've seen good reviews on Steam, so people like it. Coming to Xbox One. And then you also have Clicker Heroes also coming to Xbox One, which just came to PS4 on Tuesday, because PS4 rules. It comes to it first.
May I say I'm excited that we didn't have to go through another Neo arcade game. I mean, how many goddamn times do we have to hear the name of that goddamn game?
You think people are buying those games?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're very popular and they're very quality. I'm just saying that. I'm not trying to be a mean guy, but it's very annoying reading those games off, especially the summaries, which we used to do in this episode, but no longer do.
Because they would say Arcade Neo Geo like 10 times in the summary. I was about to call you a hater for being haters of the Arcade Neo Geo, but I got yelled at by Allison on Twitter for being a bully. Thank you,
Allison. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. I was going to respond to it, but I figured I was too late. But thank you very much.
Okay, you're I'm the victim. Your words, I'm the victim. I'm the victim. Thing. Yeah, moving on. Well, Gary, We normally on this Tuesday episode break down like a topic of discussion, shoot the shit, do whatever you want. You got the topic. I didn't really put much thought into it, so we'll see what word vomit comes out today. What do you got, Gary?
Okay. So the topic this week. So I was thinking about this a little while back about this generation of consoles and how it compares to other generations of consoles. So the question that I wrote down a few weeks ago was, what is your opinion of this generation of consoles? The example being PS4, Xbox One, and I guess you can throw the Switch in there now, but we don't really know enough about it yet. So what is your opinion of this generation of consoles? And also, in what ways have they improved the overall brand, so Sony or Microsoft? And finally, in what ways have they disappointed? So overall, what is your opinion on it? So I, of course, am a PS4 owner, so I'm only going to be really speaking for the PS4 side of things. I know, Adam, you have both, but I know you really only play the PS4.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So I want to basically break down the PS4 and honestly what I think, what have been the pros and cons, the improvements, the disappointments. So I guess I'll start it off.
Way to put in the work today, Gary. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I did something, guys.
I needed you to come through. You did.
So the PS4 improvements. So the one thing that I think that the PS4 did better was I think it was more of like a gamer targeted system. I know that back in the day when I used to play PS3, I remember hearing the fact that PS3 was notorious for being hard to program for, hard to port to, and I don't think there's really any better example than playing like a game like Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls Oblivion or Skyrim. You could just tell it was a port, and you could tell that they had a hard time, I guess, working out all the kinks. The game never really ran properly, had a lot of bugs.
You can say that again.
Yeah, and it just... the PS3 obviously had those issues. So I think the PS4 really stepped up its game. It became more developer friendly, and I think that in that sense, it just kind of beat out the PS3 in that regard. So it improved in that way. I thought that the PS4 obviously had a better operating system. I think that with the PS3, one of the biggest problem I had with the PS3 was like just some of the missing features compared to the Xbox 360, most of which being party chat. Adam, I know you were a big criticizer of this aspect.
That was the one thing I fucking hated about PS3 is when I would go play with you. I fucking hated the fact you couldn't do party chat. It just seemed like a simple thing that the 360 that came out a year prior to the PS3 was able to handle. You're able to talk across just whatever games you're playing, which was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Sorry, that's the end of my rant.
No, I'm glad you chipped in there, actually. But yeah, that was one of the things that really pissed me off too. Is that it was something that I never obviously had. So I never had like an Xbox 360 online. So it wasn't like I knew what I was missing. But obviously, I always wanted that party chat feature. It was inconvenient. I didn't always want to play Call of Duty. I wanted to play something different than my friends, and we couldn't talk. So that sucked, obviously. In terms of like the other things that the PS4 improved on, I think I like the other features as well. Like they had like obviously the capture gallery and stuff, and I think the things were easier to use on the PS4 than they were on PS3. I think everything was kind of simplified, and I think it was just a better overall user experience. Do you have something to say?
Question: how do you feel about the transition from the XMB, with the PS3 dashboard area, the XMB being the dashboard that was when you first started up the PS3, to what it is now? Do you like it now more? Do you like it?
I think so. I like I said, I just think it's easier to use now. The thing is, I haven't played my PS3 in a while, but yeah, I think things are just a little bit easier to use. Like, this is kind of random, but remember the keyboard, the old-fashioned keyboard you used to have to message people with on the PS3? It was kind of like an old-fashioned flip phone keyboard.
Oh yeah, it would pop up. And you had to hit it multiple times. Yeah, that would no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just small things that I think they did way better in the PS4. Now, obviously, I think the PS3 ended up fixing that keyboard later on. They ended up updating it, so it was, it made sense.
I remember they fixed that update when they finally changed the PSN store, when it was just originally was the PS3 version of the store, which is kind of hot garbage. But then they transitioned to what it was going to be for the PS4, and it was kind of even worse because it was like it was like I don't want to say fancy, but it was like a
yeah.
high-tech, updated version of the store, but the PS3 couldn't handle it, so it just kept chugging
that
along.
was disastrous. Yeah, that sucked. But yeah, I also liked, I didn't write this down, I actually just remembered it, but like I like the way the PS4, they have the rest mode, they added that feature in, and obviously it was much needed, and it's great to be able to just put it into rest mode. I downloaded Horizon the other night by doing that. I just, bought it, put it in, downloaded it, put it in rest mode, and bam, woke up the next morning.
That's I feel like is an underrated part about this console, the rest mode that you never realize that you need it, but it's kind of awesome. You can put it in rest mode, and when you buy things from the store, like I've bought games when I'm really excited about it, and I don't want to wait to come home to buy it on the PS4 and then move it over. I actually just purchased it from my laptop, at work, but like during lunch break, obviously. I'm doing work during the day.
Not on company time.
No, not on company time. At lunch, mind you. I purchased it, and I can just click download, and my PS4 being in rest mode, it connects through the Wi-Fi and just starts downloading it, which is pretty awesome. The PS3 kind of have something like it. Not really. You could have a setting where it automatically shut off once your download was complete, but it was running at full capacity, so sucking up a bunch of power, whereas this now is running rest mode. It's basically off. Man. You don't hear it, and it's pretty awesome.
And if you're like me and you don't have or if you're not like me and don't have a controller dock, you can actually obviously charge your controllers now using your PS4 in rest mode. So you like back when you had a PS3, you had to charge it while playing. Well, that's not the case anymore. But yeah, overall, I was very pleased, I think, with the PS4 over the PS3. But I'm going to get into some cons right now that I have with the console.
Shit. This
is kind of what I really was looking forward to talking to be honest. I'm always a fan of the negative. No, just kidding. I think there are just some questions that need to be answered, and I'm going to ask them right now. So
Gary's about
basically,
to lay down the law. Watch out, folks.
So I know we actually brushed on this a couple weeks ago, I think, or a couple episodes ago. The biggest problem I think I had with the PS4 was the fact that I still don't feel like there was any new like landmark games for the console. I know you said like IPs. I guess that's the correct term for it. But what was that reaction for?
No, I mean Horizon just came out.
And I'm going to brush on that as well.
You had The Order, even though it kind of sucked, but you had The Order. You also have Infamous Second Son, which is a pretty good game. It's a normal IP.
But what I'm saying is like with this console, I never felt you got like the Halo or the Mass Effect, or like any of like the real like games. Like you think of Xbox, you think of Halo, obviously. You think of PS4 though. Like what do you really think of now? I don't know.
Uncharted.
Okay,
Last of Us.
But that's a continuation.
Sackboy, obviously.
But that's a continuation of the games that came out for PS3. Now PS3
can't
definitely.
You say that about
Uncharted.
Halo and Mass Effect and everything.
Well, not really though. Because, I mean,
and Gears of War that came out for previous ones.
But what I'm saying is, like with Xbox, the original Xbox, that was Halo, obviously. But like Xbox 360, you could say like Gears of War was a great game that came out for that. Obviously, Mass Effect. You see what I'm saying? It's just it's a different. They're different generations of consoles that have different defining games on them.
But I mean,
and the
PS3 had defining games that were Uncharted and The
Correct.
Last of Us, and then now PS4 has games like Uncharted 4 and Ratchet and Clank finally coming back, and now Horizon Zero Dawn. And
but see, that's
Neo.
different. I'm saying like original
Bloodborne.
new games. Like Horizon Zero Dawn was, I think. Like, Bloodborne. I mean, I'm not saying it's the first game, but it's one of like the few games that's like this is on the PS4. Like this is like that game that like made the PS4.
Bloodborne.
The Last of Us and
Bloodborne
Uncharted are previous. Okay, I mean, but is that as widely?
Yes, people love Bloodborne. It's
I know
over
people
a million
love
copies.
But does it have like a mass appeal that a Horizon Zero Dawn game has? Like, would you say it does?
I think
I'm just asking
like
I'm asking your honest opinion.
I think people picking up and playing Bloodborne, it's definitely a kind of a Souls light where you move quicker. It's basically the same kind of thing as Souls, but you move quicker. It's easier to get into. It kind of makes more sense. I don't know. I think people will get into it, but I don't know. Are you comparing this? I guess to previous generations where are you just upset with PS3?
No,
or PlayStation or Sony?
the point I'm trying to make is that, obviously Horizon Zero Dawn just came out for the PS4, and I think that it's a great game. I mean, that I've played so far. I think it's, very enjoyable and everything, but I think it's like this generation of consoles, like this PS4, for example, has lacked that game, that new game that is like defining the console. Halo for the original Xbox, and then you had on the Xbox 360, for example, you had like, Gears of War. On PS3, you had Uncharted, but
now you have Horizon.
Correct. And
well,
I think that
how far into the PS3 generation did the Uncharted come out? Do you know?
Well, Uncharted came out in 07? Is that? I mean, that was out there in the beginning. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Keep going though. I'll look it up.
But that's just what I'm saying, though. And now, keep in mind, I actually came up with this topic before Horizon was released, so it's a little
2007.
Yeah, but there you go.
I mean, some of the first party Sony put out, or like the order, just didn't hit. They weren't great games themselves,
well, that's
but
the point, though.
They were before they came out. People were excited about the
Yeah.
order because that was associated with Sony. They have. I mean, you say Mass Effect, but Mass Effect originally, or it did come to Xbox first, but then it came to PS3. But you can say that Sony or PS4 now has Destiny, because that's what everybody associates Destiny with, was the PS4, is because Sony had that marketing ploy with them where everything was running on PS4. This is a PS4. People associate with that console with it. So I don't know if... I mean, I understand your argument. It makes sense, but... It seems like people, instead of trying to take new swings at IP or new IP, new ideas, they seem like they're sticking with old ones, doing sequels and everything.
Oh, I know. That was just one of my personal, like, I guess, sort of disappointments with the new consoles. That was all, or at least with the new PS4 anyway. But additionally, so this is my second major problem with the PS4.
Oh, shit. More coming in.
And I know you're on the same page too. So when I have this on my Google Docs for now called Sony versus Lizard Squad, but it could be anybody for that matter. any hacker company. So when Sony decided to start charging people for the online service for PS4, I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I have a job now. It's not like I'm 13 anymore. It's not like I have to ask my parents for money. I'll be able to pay for it. Not a big deal. However, problem I have with that is that with the paid service, I felt like nothing. It wasn't that the service got worse. It's that it didn't change whatsoever. It stayed the same. Now, I have often defended PSN. I've often said that, I think that some of the complaints about PSN were overblown, maybe exaggerated just a tad. I know that in the early days of PSN, it sucked, especially in the PS3, but I personally never had any problems with it. I still really don't. But the biggest problem I have with the current online service is that there's always these hackers that are always bringing down the PSN, always these outages. And I know people that were on the PS3 a little while back in 2011, that outage that lasted 23 days, it's kind of inexcusable. Yeah. So the biggest question that I honestly had about this particular problem is, what exactly am I paying for as a PS4 consumer or customer? You pay, if you're buying like a 12-month subscription, you're paying like what, $60? What is that money going to? Is it improving the online service? Is it making the online service more secure? Because I don't really think it is. It doesn't really seem to have changed from the PS3 version of PSN. And additionally, what exactly? Why is Microsoft better able to handle these types of situations? Is it because they're a computer software company that has dealt with these kind of issues before? And is that why they're able to resolve them quicker? Or is it just that Sony's completely inept? Like, I'm not really sure what the deal is there, but that's just another problem I've always had with PS4. It's just the inability to deal with like that cybersecurity portion of their business. But I see you over there anxiously awaiting to respond. What do you got to say?
No, I was honestly just thinking. But it makes sense. Sony does have definitely some issues when it comes to that front. The whole what was it, a month outage on PS3? That
Crazy.
Was that those dark ages where it didn't happen to the 360 and it seemed like it never happened. But when you're talking about the DDoS attacks from what was it, Lizard Squad or whatever those people are pieces of shit.
Yeah. Well, they really aren't hackers. I should say.
Yeah,
that
they're
too.
all
I mean,
DDoS just flooding the servers. I know they got. I think their attacks also affected people on Xbox One, so it wasn't just Sony on that front. But it may have affected Sony longer. I don't know the actual numbers.
Well, that's the thing. I always feel like whenever this happens, I always feel like Xbox is able to quickly respond and then resolve the issue faster than, say, Sony. Mm-hmm. And it's just always, it just doesn't make much sense to me. It's like, I understand it's hard to prevent these sort of DDoS attacks. It's not something that you can always prevent. Yeah. But when you're paying for a service, you expect it to be an improved service or expect to be getting more than something that's free. And I don't know if paying for PSN, if I can honestly say that I'm getting more than I used to when I used to get the service for free back on PS3. So just something I've always had a problem with.
The one thing I was just thinking about with the difference between, well, at least on the Sony's part, even though we're sounding like a lot of Sony fanboys right now because we're just talking about PS4. But the one thing I just thought was kind of fascinating is how you go from like the PS2. The PS2 had like the bundled-in DVD player. I know this is random, but PS3 had the bundle-in Blu-ray player, and I don't think it never felt like PS4 had that extra thing to it when it was coming out. I don't know if it's just because, there was no updates or no new thing coming around, but I don't know. I was just thinking how previous generations always had that extra thing. And the reason I think of this is because this helped me sell it to my parents when I didn't have money, so I had to say, oh, well, it's a DVD player as well, so it's 2-in-1. You can buy it, or this is a Blu-ray player. Please get it.
Lo and behold, you never watch a movie on there ever.
I did watch movies on my Blu-ray player on PS3.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying like, you're telling your parents that like, oh yeah, we can watch movies, and like you never do. You're just watching movies by yourself. Yeah, but yeah, I used to watch the hell out of movies on the PS3 and even on my PS4.
I thought it was fascinating, but maybe it's their shift from, especially when it was PS4 and they were talking about targeting gamers and what gamers want and what they need. The one thing, so I think they definitely improved on a lot of things. Their interface on PS4, I think is a lot better than what it was previously. On PS3, I like the interface and how easily connected it is to get to new games. I wish you could organize it more. You may be able to in the library itself. The one thing for the Xbox side, I fucking hate their interface. I freaking hate their idea to put things into tiles. Fucking hate that shit.
Windows for you.
I like the original 360. Back when 360 had like the little tab windows. So every window had a tab. I remember that. To this day, I honestly like that. Maybe I just don't like change. But I think all the interfaces they had up to now, what it is on Xbox One, was better than what it is now, which I've never been a fan of. I think it's just awful. It's hard to find things. It's very cluttered. I don't understand what is happening on that page.
It's like they want to be simple, but at the same time, they want to be pretty at the same time. And they like kind of, it's just kind of like a
clusterfuck of madness.
Yeah, an awkward mix, and it's just like doesn't really work out well. That's one thing like I said, I think that the PS4 it's simplistic. It's nothing crazy. It looks good, but it's not. Yeah. It doesn't lose functionality either.
One of the things with the new generation is the size difference, size comparison. How it kind of reversed between PS4 being the smaller console and Xbox One being the behemoth, whereas originally the 360 was smaller and the PS3 was the behemoth.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting coming into this console generation where previously coming into the PS3 and 360 generation, Sony was the high horse. Fucking nobody can touch me. Getting a second job to pay for this PS3. I think they said that during a press conference, funny enough. And then Xbox steamrolled them with the 360. PS3 finally caught it back up towards the end because they started focusing on what the gamers and what their audience was. And then that sort of showed rolling into this next generation where Xbox shot themselves in the foot off the bat by doing that press conference where they were trying to do an all-in-one entertainment system with cable and gaming, where I don't even see that many. I mean, I think people probably use it for cable, but no one really talks about it. People talk about these consoles for their games, where now Sony was just focused on the games, that it ended up working for them. That's why they're selling gangbusters right now, and they're continuing. The PS4 Pro never slowed them down, shockingly enough. I mean, Xbox One is still doing really well, too, comparatively, but they are still not on pace as the 360 was. But they're still selling well after shooting themselves in the foot, and I'm just wondering if, the Scorpio now is just kind of just like a hard reset, and they're trying to reset everything, try to right the ship with a new console and everything like that. One thing that really pisses me off, I don't like the fact you still can't change your names on PSN. That really annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah, Scavenger 18, it's not really working anymore. I mean, it's been like 10 years. Well, no, it's been like 11 years. 11 years now of Scavenger 18.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like 13. I'm 23 now, and I don't really think the same way I did back when I was 13. So I kind of want to change.
Yeah, you have Scavenger 18 as your Twitter handle. Why?
Well, because that's my PSN ID. I felt like it's appropriate in that sense. It's like, all right, well, you know what?
Fuck it.
I was thinking about changing it, but I was like, there's no real point. It's just an extra layer of confusion. It's like, oh, well, your name's this on Twitter, but your name is this on PS4. It's like, what's the point? I'm going to keep it the same.
Make it
I believe in
simple
simplicity.
for people? Okay.
Yes.
The one thing I was thinking about for the Xbox side, you kind of hit on it with when they were talking about games. Lately, it seems like all the big titles that they have for Xbox One have been, like, if you look at it, there's Gears 4 being the operating number there. Number 4. Then you have Halo 5. Number 5. They're sticking, and then you have Halo Wars 2. Are people really coming back for Halo Wars 2? I mean, I saw people online, the stupid fanboy argument, where people are saying for Horizon or comparing Horizon or Halo Wars, and people saying Halo Wars is going to be better. Those people can go suck a dick. Oh, let's be real. Halo Wars is not going to get. I'm sure it's a great real-time strategy, but it's not on that level. Stop being pissy that you get Halo Wars. Who cares? Just get a PS4 and play Horizon. Stop bitching. But the thing that I see Sony doing this generation more than they did in the past, it seems like they're trying to incorporate those third-party games so they notice, like Destiny or Call of Duty, say, hey, play it on this system specifically, so people think Sony or PS4 when they're playing these games. But then now they've been introducing new IPs like Bloodborne, Neo, Nier Automata that's coming out this week. They're also having Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like they've gotten them in the door with these third-party games where they can play with their friends, but now they're keeping them there with new IPs, like differing, ideas. They're not the same generic remake of everything, or not remake, but kind of sequel, I guess, of old glorious games, because it doesn't seem like Microsoft has those titles anymore. They haven't been innovating. I mean, what's really out there? I'm not trying to hate on Microsoft. You can call me a Microsoft hater. I've called Gary a Nintendo hater all the time. But the one thing I don't see anything in the future for Microsoft. They already canceled Scalebound. All that I guess quote unquote excited for is Crackdown. Now maybe they come out on E3 because Scorpio's coming out this year. Maybe they come out bang bang bang. But are people going to really excited when they say Halo 6, Gears of War 5? What's another? See, I can't even think of other IPs really off the top of my head. I mean, people associated Call of Duty with Xbox, but now people are shifting over to PS4. They're associating Call of Duty with PlayStation and Destiny with PlayStation. That's why I think Sony did the right thing with their marketing strategy. Get people in with the third party, get people in with the games they want to play with their friends, and then keep them there with the IPs where you can only get it on PS4. And it's not, it's not the whole play it anywhere that Xbox has been doing now with Windows. They're incorporating Windows so you can play it anywhere. With Sony, their games you have to play it on the PS4. They don't go to the PC ever.
See, the thing about like Destiny was the fact that it was available on both consoles, but you got additional benefits that you couldn't find on Xbox. Yeah. And that's what even when a PS4, like even if PS4 has even if the PS4 and Xbox have games like on the same like how am I going to put this? Even if PS4 has like, for example, Call of Duty and Xbox has Call of Duty, PS4 has like additional benefits, for example, that the Xbox users can't get. And they've been doing a lot of that as well. And it's obviously worked out for them. But it's really interesting because I remember years ago when Mass Effect was coming out for Xbox 360, I wasn't able to play it because I just didn't have an Xbox 360 anymore. It broke down on me and I ended up buying a PS3. And it was something that really like
the red ring of death.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, that was one of the things that always pissed me off. It's like, I want that Mass Effect game. It looks awesome. And one of the best things that like Sony ever did was bring those games over, because like Mass Effect is like just a tremendous game. It's like an iconic game. And so, I just love the hell out of that series.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have any more comments about this? What was the original topic? I don't remember. We just started rambling.
Well, we've been on point. I will say that. Basically, it's just your overall opinion of the just generation of consoles, and in what ways you think they have improved the brand, and also in what ways they have disappointed. So
I think Sony has definitely improved their brand with the PS4. They've been known now this generation so far as the gaming console. It's where they're focused on gamers themselves. They came out when they first did the E3 press conference. Gamers. That's all we care about. Let's show these games. Let's give these games. People are excited about games. Xbox One, sort of, I think they're probably back to even now, but they came out and shot themselves in the foot when they're talking about not talking about games themselves, even though they did have great games to come out with. I mean, they had Sunset Overdrive. I remember they had Tomb Raider for a whole year. Poor whoever, what was it, Square Enix that published it? Poor them, or the developers. Fucking shot themselves in the foot being a year exclusive to Xbox, where if it came out on PS4, I'm sure people would have. It would have sold even a lot better. They had Titanfall. That was another game that I feel bad for Respawn. Would have sold bonkers on PS4. But, I mean, they had those games, but they didn't promote the right way. They didn't promote to the gamers. They didn't tell people why to come right off the bat. And that's what you need to do when you're promoting these consoles. You need to start off and hit them hard and keep hitting them. Let them know that this is what we plan on focusing on you. We're not taking it away from you. We're focusing on what you want. I'm talking about marketing now, even though I'm not the marketing major here.
No, you're doing a pretty good job. Power to the gamers, baby. Power to the gamers.
I'm trying my best. Improved and disapproved.
I was going to say overall, as a last point, I think overall I've enjoyed the PS4 a lot more than the PS3 in some ways. Like I think that I miss some of the games I had on the PS3, but I don't know. There's just the things I like about the PS4, like the party chat and like the social aspect, but also the fact that they were focused on the gamers. I just think that the PS4 improved on a lot of the things I did not like at all about the PS3, and for that, I can say that the PS4 has absolutely succeeded my expectations even. So,
agreed.
That's my final point I think I need to make. So
we'll see how. I don't really know what the Switch is. Is the Switch going to be in the Scorpio generation, or is it technically in the PS4? Because I mean, the Wii U came out a year before the PS4 and Xbox One did. So is that technically? Because if that's in that generation or this current
it's done, dude.
It's fucking dead. It's dead.
Yeah.
We'll see how the Switch goes. People have been buying it. There's a decent amount of hype with people buying it. They're excited. Zelda Breath of the Wild, solid first game, but we'll see.
They rated that a 10 out of 10. They rated that a 10 out of 10 on IGN. A 10 out of 10.
A lot of places have.
People are really liking that game. I was watching some streamers play that, and they were all about it. But it's weird. Nintendo Switch. It's like how like when PS2 was coming to a close and PS3 and Xbox 360 were coming out. That was like the beginning of another generation. Now it's like Nintendo Switch just kind of came out of nowhere and
That's
it's
what
just
happened
there.
with the Wii U. They came out and randomly announced a new console. This
Yeah.
seemed like out
And
of left field.
and it's just like, oh, well, here's this console. It's kind of just here now.
Like,
It's like,
yay. Man, I kind of wish I really wish they put more, they just waited like another year or this final fall to finally release the Switch. Because I feel like it's from what I'm reading on the reviews, it's very close to being like the hybrid that you want, but there's some features missing. It seems like there's been a better development with like the tech that was in the console itself that could have benefited down the road. I personally am going to wait until at least a bundle comes out, or maybe there's going to be a Nintendo Switch Slim, because Nintendo likes to release new, especially for their handhelds, they like to release randomly new models for it, like every few years. Like we had the 3DS and 3DS Lite and all that 3DS XL and then 2DS and all that bullshit.
I think waiting could have been beneficial too, just from the standpoint of launch titles, because they didn't really have that many strong launch titles at all. And
besides
Zelda?
Zelda?
I mean, the only one really that was really good was Zelda, obviously. But everything else, I mean, no one really seems to be talking about any other game besides Zelda on Nintendo Switch. And how long is one game really going to keep you, playing a console? Not long, frankly, not for most people. So I think an additional year would have been better in development and keeping or in improving that system. And I guess maybe improving on the launch of that system and also the sales.
Yeah,
because I know I was reading in a lot of places that like that console's going to struggle probably out of the gate, but get stronger as time goes on.
You would hope so. I'm interested to see how Nintendo plans on what they plan on doing with this console. Do they plan on keeping it the same, or do they plan on updating it? Do we see randomly Sony hopping back into the handheld market with a Vita 2? What?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I saw actually patents that were released by Sony. There was articles talking about Sony way back when had patents for their Vita 2. Looks just like what the Switch was. Not gonna lie. So it seemed like they came to the same conclusion as to what this handheld should be in the future. So I guess Nintendo's going that route. We'll see how it works. It's one thing, like, that's the whole thing with the research part. It seems like they could have added like little tiny features that would have made it so much better. Like, for example, the whole plugging. You can't plug the Switch itself into your TV. There's no like HDMI port or whatever to plug it into. Like, so if you go on the road, you have to bring the dock with you, which just seems fucking insane. That just seems like a stupid thing. The same thing with their online system. They're still using friend codes, so you have to type in the code that you have, which is like a long 12-digit code, to connect with that person, which they had back in like the Wii era, which is strange. I don't know why, but okay. So, yeah. I mean, there's some things they've stepped forward with, like actually purchasing a license for a game and keeping it on your ID. But then there's little steps back where it's still classic Nintendo, sort of, missing the mark. Sorry, we're not haters. Gary's the hater. Blame him. His words. Yeah. His words.
Yeah. So we ended up turning this debate, this topic, also into a Nintendo Switch discussion. So here we go, folks. You got some bonus
It makes
content.
sense, though. It's kind of this generation. It fits in.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what they can. What do you think? Well, we've already talked about what the Switch can do to improve your standing, or what you just want them to release more or have more third-party support itself, having games that you care about instead of baby games like Mario and Yoshi.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Not just third party though, but like also first party. Just start developing other games that besides the same old classic Nintendo games that everybody knows. It's only going to get you so far in the end, I feel like, to just keep going to the well over and over again.
Because that's what happened with the Wii U, and it sort of flopped pretty hard.
I mean, even with Zelda turning out as well as it did, it's not going to happen every time. You're not going to get a 10 out of 10 every time.
10
You're
out
not going to release. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's just not possible. So it's like eventually you're going to have to branch out and improve and start developing games that are going to appeal to other people besides just the Nintendo lovers. And it's just the way it has to be.
You think we'll ever see a hardcore, gritty like action game from Nintendo, I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't really think so either. I mean, more power to them, I guess. They stick to their guns, but it's just maybe not me.
Whatever they do, they do it well. That's all I know. Well, Gary, if that's all you got, that has been, because it's been a long episode. This is episode 27 and a half, I guess you can call it. This has been Two Jersey Kids. We release episodes every Tuesday and Friday. You can follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. And also, if you're a new listener and you liked the ramblings that are Adam and Gary, you can hit that subscribe button. It's great. And also, if you go into the description and you're an Apple user, hit that. It's like a link that'll say rate us or something. Go rate us. It'll take you right to the podcast rating area for Two Jersey Kids. It's fantastic. You can then just hit write a review. Give us 5 stars, please. And then, just give us a review. Tell us what you think. And keep listening to us. Keep giving us feedback. Keep tweeting us questions. We want questions. We want feedback. We want to interact with all our beautiful, beautiful listeners out there. We love you so much. Oh, yeah, you're so beautiful. But that has been this Tuesday episode. Gary, what do you have to say before we go?
Well, it's been a pleasure, as always, to be on this podcast as, the one and only Gary Seisel. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just been awesome to be here. I'll see you again on Friday. I got to start thinking of new topics, by the way, for these episodes, too. I know we had to...
You should ask people on Twitter.
I will, actually. Well, I'll ask them on Twitter, and I'll ask them right now. Submit a topic to us on Twitter immediately if you're listening.
Do it now. Yeah. If people make it to the 45-minute mark.
Yeah. But anyway,
we'll see.
It's been a good time. So I'll catch you guys again in our Friday episode. It's been a pleasure to be here. Adam, take it away.
All right, guys. Have a good one. You'll hear us on Friday. Get excited. Bunch of news coming out. We're pumped. Have a good one. Bye.